What a great time to be alive and graduating high school. We have more opportunities available to us now than ever before. During the past 4 years, the U.S. Congress has become the most diverse it has ever been. The American unemployment rate is currently 3.8%, the lowest it has been in 50 years. The Ebola epidemic ended. Crime rates in the U.S. hover over an all-time low. The American and world economy are flourishing. Around the world, advancements were made in preventing climate change, deforestation, and extinction. And education accessibility is increasing all over the world. What a great time to be alive and graduating high school. In these past 4 years as Mustangs, Monte Vista has brought home 24 NCS titles. The class of 2019 has 17 D1 student athlete commits and 8 National Merit Scholars. We currently have over 200 student-run clubs on campus. Our choir has brought home several titles over these past few years. Drama has put on 12 amazing shows. Speech and debate takes home titles tournament after tournament. Our class has run blood drives, donation drives, and fundraisers where we see need. And for all this, we owe some recognition to those of us who have helped us achieve this: our parents, families, teachers, staff members, and ourselves. To begin, let's discuss a book called Outliers by Malcolm Gladwell. The chapter I'd like to discuss is the 10,000 hour rule. Gladwell claims that to master a field, one must spend 10,000 hours practicing it. Well, let's do the math. We've been in high school for 4 years, 180 school days each year, 7 hours a school day, adding up to about 5,020 hours for those of us with perfect attendance records. Halfway there. Now, the way you spend your next 5,000 hours are critical. Make them worth something of value. For those of us who want to master educating ourselves, that is our meaning of high school. It's the first half of the journey on mastering quality learning. With that, I would like to tell the story of the class of 2019, the story of the Monte Vista High School experience unique to us. We started our freshman year with some really good rallies and football games when our team would actually win. We'd get yelled at to go home during the rallies, but then we'd hit the seniors back with a weak, pathetic, "We won't miss you" chant. We accepted our place at the bottom of the food chain. Sophomore year wasn't really that important, so I'm just gonna skip over that, except remember the time we had a gas leak in the science building? Yeah, me too. Junior year came along and hit us like a truck. We bonded over the fact we were all stressed all the time. We tested our breaking points. We danced our worries away at prom, but as soon as that was over, we went right back to stressing. We studied for finals, AP exams, SATs, ACTs, and SAT subject tests. To top it off, the big decisions were lingering in our heads. Finally, we made it to senior year. We filled out tons of applications trying to figure out how to fit 17 years of life and education into a 650-word essay. For those of us lucky enough to turn 18 during the school year, we signed ourselves out. And for those extra lucky students, we got awards called truancies for missing too much school. We started our own version of Gossip Girl, also known as MV Confessions. And when that got shut down, we came back even stronger with MV Confessions 2.0. We lost our microwave, small water cup, fork, and even locker privileges, hence the zip ties. But we refused to let that stop us. We cut down those zip ties and stood taller than ever. All jokes aside, we grew as individuals and as a class tremendously during our years here, and we could not have done so without challenge and failure. The class of 2019, I want to honor you. Every single student sitting in front of me has set a goal and completed it, to graduate high school. Now, I'm not going to relate high school to some cliche metaphor of a roller coaster or a toolbox. Instead, I will tell you the story of my first failure in high school. Now, up until the second month of my junior year, I cared a lot about my grades. Don't get me wrong, they still matter to me now, but they simply do not carry the same weight. That month, I failed my first test in high school. Looking at that 57 on the top of my test, I was disappointed with myself. The 4 hours I spent studying for that test was not useful studying. Mr. Taylor told us after that first test, if you're not doing well, then change your way of studying. And that was it. I had to change my quantity to quality. The next part of this story takes place in Ms. Haverill's office, who if you haven't had the pleasure of working with, she is our outstanding college advisor. I scheduled a meeting with her to discuss my senior year plans, and after a few minutes, she looks at me, laughs, and finally says, "I love when students get their first B's in high school," a response I was not expecting at all. She went on to explain that this was a learning experience more than anything. My purpose of telling you this story is for each student here to take time on reflect your moment of failure. In these past 4 years, each one of us has not only had one setback, but many. So I encourage you to keep that moment of failure close to you. Let it humble you and guide you in facing your many obstacles to come. In my 4 years here at Monte Vista, I have encountered countless students and staff, yet the ones who left an impact on me saw my individuality as a strength. Today, I hope to serve as that person for you. As I approach the end of my speech, I'd like to leave you with this final thought. I'm standing here today to motivate you to be untraditional. Challenge others, embrace failure, and give your education meaning. Remember those moments of failure, cherish your fall, for it is the attitude we choose and camaraderie we learn from that will determine our lives after all. What a great time to be alive and graduating high school. Thank you and good night.